Hello, everyone, and we'd like to welcome you once again to the Adventures Travel Club television show. The scenes that you're seeing right now in our opening don't have anything to do with today's show. That was the first part of that was shot when we were in Egypt. And remember that? That was last time.
Oh, that was a great trip, yeah.
That was a great trip. We've got to do that again, you know that? We're really going to have to do Egypt again.
But we keep saying that. You know, Marv, every time we go someplace and we come back and we say, oh, that was the greatest trip. We got to do that again. Well, some of them we do again.
Yeah, right.
But then there's others that
we
don't repeat.
Right. Today we are going to find ourselves where we left off last week, and that is in the what was the old Jewish ghetto of Warsaw. And the monument that we saw just a moment ago, plus the pictures here, are part of the history, of course, which all of us know about during World War II, when the Jewish people from the area here were put into a ghetto area, and then, of course, exterminated by the Nazis. And they are building at this site. They're starting construction on a museum for this, and of course, we can see some of the pictures that were taken during World War II.
1961 was the one some of those pictures were from. Did you see the notation up there on the top of the picture? No?
1961?
That's what it said.
Well,
and I read it wrong?
I think you read it wrong.
Put my glasses back on?
Put your glasses back on.
Okay, I'll go get them.
Because 1961 is well over with.
Well, no. But what they see where it says the building of the wall. Well, the picture before that had 1961. So maybe that's when somebody took the picture or something. Oh, forget it.
This was back in the 40s when all of this happened.
Forget it. Okay.
Anyway, it was very educational for us to take a look at this, and of course we'd all have read about this. You know, a horrible part of history. This shows the area there within Warsaw that the ghetto took, and there was a wall around that too. You know, we had just seen the Berlin Wall a couple of days before, and this is a reminder of the atrocities, of course, that took place during World War II. And this particular monument here, we can see the stone. Hitler had moved into Warsaw. This was going to be the stone was going to be used for his victory monument, a great big V. Well, we see, of course, that did not happen.
Thanks be to God.
And now that is a memorial to the Holocaust, which took place here, and just
Marv,
it's a horrible thing to have to see, but we have to learn that. Yes. Betty, we're going to listen to our guide right now, okay?
Many Jews survived the war, but later they emigrated. For instance, after Israel was established, many went to Israel or to other countries. So nowadays, a very small Jewish community in this city. Generally, Poland in the past was a bit different country, much different than Poland now, because ages ago this country was much bigger. 300 or 400 years ago, the territory of Poland was 3 times bigger than it is now. And this was a multi-ethnic country where many groups, different groups, were living side by side, which explains why many... Okay, fine. Just checking. So which explains why so many Jews came to Poland, because the Jews were not native from Poland. They came from other countries. But this country probably easier accepted them, because this country was like melting pot. In the same country there were Poles and Lithuanians, Tartars, Gypsies, Ukrainians, and many other groups. So one more different group, the Jews, who had different culture and different customs, different language and different religion, were probably accepted in this country easier, and step by step this Jewish community in Poland got very big. And before the war we had in this city 3 synagogues. The biggest was so-called Great Synagogue. That's the one which was blown up in May 43 by the German Nazis. Where that synagogue was located, now there is just that office building you see in front of you on the left, Silver Tower. All the synagogues were destroyed. One was restored. There is one synagogue in Warsaw now, Nożyk Synagogue, because Jewish community in Warsaw, in the city of about 2 million people, Jewish community is 300 or 400 people, not even 1,000. So most of Polish people have always been Roman Catholics, and even nowadays about 90% of us are Roman Catholics. And this is why most of the churches you see in Poland are, of course, Catholic churches. There is the Bank Square in front of us, Bank Square. To the right, there you will see the City Hall. The seat of the Mayor of Warsaw and City Council is in that house to the right, the one with the the one with the flag. The flag is red and yellow, although Warsaw colors are red and white. But Warsaw colors, Polish colors are red and white. Warsaw colors, red and yellow. So public transportation you can see here in Warsaw, those buses, red buses, or red with some yellow elements like the one to the right, that's public transportation. We have also trams, if you like streetcars to the left, tram. Trams should be also red and yellow, but now they have advertisements, so they change colors, but we have trams as well here. We have also subway, but that's what I told you about already. At the moment, traffic is not that heavy because that's July, summer vacation. July and August, most of Warsaw people go for summer holidays. This is the best time when children, school children have summer holidays, July and August. So no problem with the traffic, but I must tell you, in September, when they all will be back, we'll have problems with very heavy traffic because the number of cars is increasing very fast in Poland, and it shows in big cities like in Warsaw, because let's say 10 years ago a car, it was a big thing. Those who had cars were considered rich people. Now everybody wants to have a car, and I know many families where mother has her car and father his car, and children after 18 they want to have their cars. So it's like more Western lifestyle. But in big cities, we don't have enough parking lots. You see people park on the street or on the sidewalk, or we don't have enough garages. So that's a big problem. Although it says something about living standards in Poland, much. Right. In front of us you can see that building with a clock tower. That's the building which was rebuilt actually last year only. And this big house you will have on the left, that's the Opera House. On your left hand side at the moment there is Grand Theatre of Opera and Ballet. At the moment it's closed because they also have summer holidays. So no opera, no ballet in summer in Warsaw, just chamber opera that they do something. This is Marshal Piłsudski Square. There is a park to the right. That's Saxon Garden. In that park there is also the tomb of the unknown soldier. If you look to the right, probably you can see in that park 3 white arcades. Under the arcades there is the tomb of the unknown soldier. 2 soldiers on duty, change of guard every hour on the hour. You can see also eternal flame under the arcade. The arcades, that's the only remnant of a beautiful palace which was destroyed during the war. There were actually in that park, it was a beautiful palace, and 2 parts of the palace were connected by a colonnade in the middle. And the only fragment of that palace are those 3 arcades. That's the only part of that colonnade. Under German occupation, this place was called by the occupants Adolf Hitler Platz, which was never accepted by Polish people, but there were names, the inscriptions with this terrible name on the houses at this square. Once again in front of us there is the Church of the Nuns of Visitation, the church where Frédéric Chopin attended Holy Masses every Sunday. And since he was a student of the Academy of Music and a good pianist, they asked him also to play the organ in this church. so this area is connected with Chopin. He lived not far from here. I pointed to the house with his name. His heart is back here. This is the church he visited, and they say in this church he met his first love. His first love was Konstancja Gładkowska, also young. He was 18, she was 18, and she was a member of church choir. Church maybe is not a perfect place for a date, but this puppy love started here. He met her here. And now we are heading for the old town because it's time to start our visit in the oldest district of Warsaw. Once again, you will see Presidential Palace, which was originally a residence of the Radziwiłł family. To the right, there is a Radziwiłł Palace, but now Mr. Kwaśniewski, Polish the president, he lives and works in that house to the right. The old town is just for pedestrians. We'll have a walk, and maybe some of you would like to stay in the old.
Here, just a few words. The king on the column is the one who made this city capital of Poland. You know, originally our capital was in Kraków, and this king, Zygmunt Waza, left Kraków and came to Warsaw because he found the city more convenient, better located, centrally located. This is why we like him. People of Kraków don't. They say this is the king who liked country life, so he left royal capital city Kraków for that ugly village called Warszawa, Warsaw. You can see the castle, which became at his times the most important building in Poland. Seat of the parliament, main royal residence was the castle, the most important building. What happened during the war? During the war, the column, for instance, was destroyed. Artillery fire destroyed the column. The king collapsed, but luckily it survived. It was not broken. The statue is old. This is an old king on a new column. If you want to see that original column, look to the castle, near the castle. On the grass, there are small fragments, small pieces of that old original column. So this was not reused. The column you see here is new, but the king is old.
He's all right. He's all right. He did not hit his head. He's okay. He was. I saw him.
Okay, it's good part. Right.
There were helmets in the United States.
Yes, they have helmets, but this is not that dangerous, you know. Here. He wanted to show off, you know. It was for you, especially. He arranged it actually.
And then he was embarrassed.
The castle was blown up during the war. German sappers drilled special holes for dynamite in this castle. They put explosives to the holes. They connected everything. So nothing was left here. The castle was destroyed totally. But in the beginning of the war, Polish people evacuated furniture, paintings, sculptures. All the treasures were preserved. They were hidden in Poland and abroad. So this is a new building which houses an old interior decoration. That's a very strange castle, but we think it's better to have this than nothing. No history and just modern high-rises here. So it's good that the old town was rebuilt, you know, reconstructed, because it was destroyed, but it looks old because many documents survived and they helped rebuild the old town.
Betty, I really enjoyed visiting the old town, didn't you?
Oh, it was great. And our guide was superb. She articulated so well what we saw. And I loved what she said about saving all of the beautiful paintings and historical things from the palace. It was, you know.
Yeah, and it's good that the Polish people were able to get that out before the Nazis really, you know, blew this place up. And
can you imagine doing it on purpose?
Oh, of course I can. I mean, these were very, very evil people, you know, and thank God that's over with. And I hope it never repeats itself.
Amen.
Syrenka, Little Mermaid, Syrenka. The emblem of this city is the mermaid. Although maybe you may be surprised, because mermaids normally live in big seas or oceans. And our mermaid came from the Baltic Sea. You know, the Vistula River goes northwards to the Baltic Sea, so the mermaid was swimming down the Vistula River to the place I showed you the river. She found this place very nice. She decided to stay for good here. And she protects this city, the sword and shield in her hands. So even mermaids must fight in Warsaw from time to time. She protects us, but you know, there are too many marching armies, enemies and occupants. Just one small mermaid is not enough to protect us. We must protect her today, but we like her anyway. So those two fishermen, Vars and Sava, they were fishing in the river, and once, instead of fish, they put mermaid in their net. But they let her free, they became friends, and this is why the mermaid promised them to protect their house by the river. And this town with that house was called Warszawa after Vars and Sava, and the mermaid was nearby protecting this town. This is how Warsaw, Warszawa was built. The mermaid is here just for this season, because soon at the end of this, because originally she was in a different place. Just this winter this statue was under renovation, and now it is here, and soon it will go to a different place. So that's the only chance for you to see the mermaid in the middle of the royal castle, which is not her place normally. So if you like, you can take pictures that just don't touch, don't go too close, but just take pictures from a distance.
Did you expect to see a mermaid in the royal palace?
No, I did see the mermaid in Copenhagen.
Yeah, right. Of course,
I have her at home.
Little. You're the one that took it.
No, I have a replica of it at home, and it's fun. She's just darling.
Well, you know that one in Copenhagen. That's been the head has been sawed off twice on that.
Oh, I
thing.
know. People
Yeah.
are so awful. Now, tell me,
Terrible.
on this Rhine cruise that we'll be going on when we go to Medjugorje, Oberammergau, there's a mermaid there, a siren that
Well, you know what that is, don't you? That the Lorelei.
The Lorelei. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Right,
it.
right.
So they're all over the place.
They're all over the place, right? Whether you want to believe in them or
Yeah.
not, right? But this old town was quite a beautiful place, I thought. I loved the color of the buildings, didn't you, Betty?
Yeah. It's just like a painting.
Really?
You know,
And-
in
and it's-
pastel, sort of.
In fact, some of the buildings were actually, besides the paint job that they had on them, they did some decorative painting on them too. I thought it was just really beautiful. This was a cute little shop that I went into. I love the display. I mean, you're not going to find big display windows in buildings in the old town, but anyway, they had one right here, and they had some beautiful things
Now,
inside.
see that thing hanging down? That one right there. Now, Marv thinks that is just great. He bought one to hang up in
That's
his
a
kitchen
kitchen
window.
witch. That's
yeah.
a kitchen witch, right.
Golly,
Yeah.
I've got witches in my kitchen. I burn stuff all the time. I don't need another one there No, thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of a little fun thing. But it's some of the adventures.
Pronounce
about
that. Go back.
Sorry, too late. That's gone. No, I'm sorry. I don't think my Polish is too good. I admire the people that we did have a couple on the trip that were able to speak a little bit of the Polish
Yeah.
language. That's very nice that they could do that. But
This was a great shop right here.
Was,
They had
wasn't it?
quite an assortment. One of my little friends from Fairfield bought some lovely garnets right here in this
really?
shop. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Well, it's
Goodbye. There she is right there. Lily.
Well, we're going to go down the street here, and we're going to go into, of course, naturally, you couldn't go anywhere in Poland without running into a church somewhere, right?
Right.
So right around the corner, we are going to go into a church, and there are some famous people that are entombed in that particular church. Here, Betty, is what I was talking about, the paintings on the
I
on the
thought you
wall.
said
They're
there are many
beautiful.
people entombed. And I thought, in tune? How could they be
No.
in tune? They're dead. You said entombed.
Well, they might
with the
they might
M.
be, they might be in tune and
Still be in tune,
in the
huh?
right thing, right?
Yeah, okay.
1370, I believe that was spelled. Boy, that's really something. Anyway, we're going to go inside. We'll have to listen very carefully to our guide because it's a little echoey in here.
In southern Poland, and this is the place where there is this shrine with a black Madonna. So this is just a replica, just a copy of this famous icon. In Poland, we have those real pilgrimages. You know, the pilgrimage is when you walk, not drive, not by train, not by car, but when you walk to this holy place. So in August, many Polish people go to Częstochowa. From Warsaw, that's 300 kilometers distance, so they walk for 10 days. They want to be in Częstochowa on the Assumption Day, August the 15th. So they depart at 5th and they want to be there on the 15th of August. But from northern provinces, a longer distance, so longer walk. In the crypts, those famous people are buried. For instance, Paderewski is buried here. You can see from here just a bust to the right. There is a bust of Paderewski, this famous Polish pianist, composer, statesman, who died in America and who was buried at the Arlington Cemetery, but he always wanted to be buried in Poland, his homeland, but free Poland only. When he died during the war, Poland was not free, and it was not possible to organize his funeral in Poland.
I think one of the interesting points that she brought up is that the people that do make the pilgrimage to visit the icon of the Black Madonna, which is after we leave Warsaw, which we are going to do ourselves, but we're going to take a bus. Now, a lot of people walk, as she said, and they walk from various parts of Poland. And we knew about that in Mexico. People going to the shrine of Our Lady Guadalupe that will walk,
Sure.
for several days or maybe several weeks. But
Sometimes on their knees in Mexico.
I was really
I've seen
surprised,
it.
though. Yeah, I was really surprised to see that here, and we're going to learn more about that in our next program here on the Adventures Travel Club television show. But we're still in the old city here of Warsaw, and I really thought that this was quite beautiful. We talked just a moment
Yeah.
about all of these buildings that were painted. Betty, where else do you remember seeing buildings like that painted?
Well, they went in Oberammergau. Of course,
Right.
there's a lot of but they're more brilliant colors, and with the geraniums in the boxes and stuff. But I love this. I like as a matter of fact, Marv, in England, someplace in England, they had all of these little signs out in front of the shop showing what I guess that was medieval.
Yeah, and I think you probably found that all over Europe.
Yes, yes.
You didn't have a neon sign blinking. McDonald's.
Yeah.
But here we can see the signs hanging out there, and quite
Now
nice.
see where the man is standing. I went in that. It's a
Place is Old Market Square, which means that originally in Old Warsaw, main market square was here. It is no longer Market Square, it's just a name, but for tourists it is a marketplace because you see those paintings, postcards, and in almost every house there are stores with souvenirs. Exchange over there if you are interested, and if you take other streets you will find exchange offices. Folk art is here. You see this door open. Folk art, so linen, embroidery, dolls in folk costumes, that's what you can find here in this section. And if you take any side street, Big Amber store is the one on the corner, we just passed it. But if you take any side street, you will find other small stores with amber, crystal, and other souvenirs.
Betty, you were about to say before you were interrupted there that you went into that restaurant? It was fancy.
I don't watch, and I just talk a lot anyway. I have a tendency to overdo it. But yeah, we went into that restaurant and looked around. There was a couple of different rooms in it. Oh man, it was beautiful, so beautifully appointed. But was it expensive? I look and I say, well, it's been nice being here. Thank you very much. And out I go.
Well, I ate out here, and this was also a lunch stop for us. I ate out here at one of the little restaurants. Actually, the restaurants were in the buildings, but they had the little tables out there. So, and the waiters and waitresses would run back and forth, and we enjoyed ourselves there. It was very nice. It was fun.
It rained a little bit on and off, and I bought a picture from one of those stalls over
did
there
you?
that you see. It was a pastel, and it was of the scene that you're seeing right here in back of you.
Looks like a movie set, doesn't
yeah,
it?
I really try to pick up something like this at home. So I can put it on my wall and remember where I was.
And this is what it looked like before.
Yeah,
Of course, it had been
isn't that
totally destroyed
something?
during World War II. So we see it was all redone. Well, we're just about ready to leave Warsaw, but before we do, we're getting ready to have our breakfast and then get on the bus. And I want to take another look at this building, which the people in Warsaw are not too proud of. Of course, this was built by during the Russian occupation, and this is very much of a Soviet-style building. In fact, in Moscow, you'll see 7 of these buildings that look almost exactly like that are located around the city. But they say that one's going to stay, evidently, because it's a big area right there, what they have. In fact, I think with a train station, if I'm not mistaken, comes very close to that.
near there.
You see the people getting ready to go to work.
Sure, I like the building. Now, I'm not supposed to like it because it's Russian, but I thought it was fascinating. I liked the architecture of it, and I could see it from my room, and I had no objection to it. Of course, I didn't live there
That's
at
right.
the time.
You didn't live under that occupation,
Aesthetically, I thought it was nice, but
Right.
Politically, no, huh?
Politically incorrect, right?
Okay.
Which, anyway, the people are coming into the city, as you can see here, by buses, by trams, by the subway, of course, which is there's a big subway station right underneath this. I want to call it a square, but it's
circle?
actually a circle, right?
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people going to work that day. And we were just about ready to get on our bus because we were going to go on down to Chestacoet.
I miss not getting on one of those streetcar things. I always try to get on one of them just to try the transportation out, but we didn't have time.
No, we didn't. We saw so
I
much
know,
of
I
Warsaw. It
know.
was wonderful. It was a great city tour that day, and it really was wonderful. And the little bit of rain was not bad at all. Well, Betty, let's board our bus and on our way south to Chestacoet.
Fine.
It's quite a large town. It's over 200,000 the population, but this number swells dramatically at certain times of the year with the number of pilgrims. But as I say, the town itself, it's quite an industrial town as well. Textiles. And the name of this street is, can anybody read it over there? John Paul II Street. Remember when I said that after 89 all the street names were changed? So this is John Paul II Avenue. We're coming in. So we're heading for the centre, and if you look straight ahead I can see the monastery we're heading for. The name of the monastery is called Jasna Gora. J for John, A, S for sugar, N, A. And then the second name is Gora. G for George, O-R-A. Jasna Gora. And it translates, it means hill or mountain of light. Hill of light or mountain of light. You see it's on a hill. You'll see it again in a few moments. Now the monastery, we're going to have a tour of the monastery. It is run by an order of monks from the Pauline order, and they wear white. And one of the brothers is going to give us a tour of the monastery today. It has a lovely museum. It has a very impressive treasury. And remember when we spoke the other day about the museum, I said that Lech Walesa, remember he was the leader of Solidarity. His Nobel Peace Prize is on display here. Remember at the museum, which you'll see today. There's also a portrait in the museum of Lech Walesa, and I don't like it. I don't think it's very good, but I'll see what you have to say about it. In the 15th century, when the Tatar soldiers were here, you know the Tatars from the east, they came here and they wanted to steal this icon. When they were carrying it away, it got heavier and heavier. And out of frustration, one of the Tatar soldiers took his sword and out of frustration slashed the painting, you know, because it was getting heavier and heavier, he couldn't lift it anymore. So frustrated, he took out his sword and slashed the painting, and the painting bled. And the scars on the cheek of the Madonna remain. And that was in the 15th century. But the brother who's going to show us around the monastery will tell you, you know, this legend as to why the Madonna has the scars on her cheek and other, you know, interesting facts, much better than I can, of course. But just to give you an idea, so we call it the Black Madonna because the skin colour is dark, because over the centuries the candle soot and chemicals which out of ignorance we tried to clean with.
And we'll visit the shrine on our next adventure. But it's just about time for us to say goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next time.